The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with anticipation as the human delegation prepared to take its seat. For centuries, the Council had regulated interstellar affairs, including the rules of war, ensuring that conflicts remained civilized and contained. Dozens of alien species, some with millennia of spacefaring history, watched with curiosity as Earth's representatives entered the chamber. These humans, a relatively young species by galactic standards, were seen as ambitious but inexperienced. The arrival of the humans had been met with mixed reactions. Some council members, like the elegant and diplomatic Threllians, saw humans as a valuable addition to the galaxy, capable of creativity and adaptability. Others, like the warlike Zarkians, dismissed humanity as primitive and inconsequential. But that was all about to change. A new conflict had erupted in a distant sector of the galaxy. The Zarkians, known for their aggressive expansionism, had declared war on a small but technologically advanced race known as the rani. Despite their intellect, the rani were vastly outnumbered and ill-prepared for the brutal Zarkian assault. In an unprecedented move, they requested aid from humanity, who had recently been accepted into the Council. This was humanity's chance to prove themselves, not just as negotiators, but as warriors. The Galactic Council, believing the humans would abide by the rules of engagement, granted them permission to join the war. These rules, deeply ingrained in the Council's culture, limited destruction, avoided civilian casualties, and preserved the environment. War in the galaxy was, if nothing else, a matter of honor and precision. However, the humans had a different approach to war. When the first human fleet entered Zarkian space, it was immediately clear that humanity fought by different rules. In their first engagement, the humans did not simply outmaneuver the Zarkian fleet, they overwhelmed it. Earth's forces employed strategies that the Council had never seen before: coordinated surprise attacks, psychological warfare, and guerrilla tactics. Where other species fought with elegance and restraint, the humans were relentless and unpredictable. The Zarkians, who had long prided themselves on their military prowess, were caught off guard by the sheer brutality of human warfare. Human commanders, most notably the infamous Captain Avery, launched simultaneous attacks on key Zarkian supply lines, crippled their communication networks, and laid waste to their ground forces. In a single, overwhelming battle, the Zarkian fleet was decimated, leaving their leaders stunned and defenseless. The battle was over, but the shockwaves were just beginning. As news of humanity's victory spread through the Council, whispers filled the chamber. What had been seen as a routine conflict had turned into a spectacle of total destruction. The humans, while victorious, had shattered the Council's long-standing traditions of civilized warfare. It was not just the scale of the victory that unsettled the other species, but the methods. The rules of engagement had been obliterated, replaced by a human mindset of total war. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council began to feel fear. The Zarkian defeat at the hands of humanity was only the beginning. In the months following that initial battle, the full scope of human warfare became terrifyingly clear to the Galactic Council and its member species. Humanity's military doctrine was unlike anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. While most species adhered to strict rules of engagement designed to minimize damage and preserve life, humans approached war with a single goal: complete and overwhelming victory. They brought with them the concept of total war, a relentless strategy where no resources were spared and no advantage was too small to exploit. What other species viewed as excessive or dishonorable, humans considered simply necessary for survival. The Zarkians, once feared throughout the galaxy for their brute strength and military might, found themselves hopelessly outmatched. Human fleets adapted to every challenge, switching tactics on the fly. They combined sophisticated technology with a ruthless efficiency in ground and space combat, obliterating Zarkian strongholds and cutting off supply chains with surgical precision. Among the human commanders, none were more feared than Commander Avery. Coldly analytical, Avery was a master of unconventional warfare. While alien commanders adhered to centuries-old traditions, Avery embraced the chaos of war, using unpredictability as a weapon. Her forces launched surprise orbital bombardments on key Zarkian cities, obliterating military installations in a matter of hours. Entire fleets were reduced to wreckage, leaving no hope for counterattacks. Zarkian morale, once unshakable, crumbled in the face of humanity's onslaught. It wasn't just the scale of destruction that disturbed the Galactic Council. It was the way humans used war as a means to dominate psychologically. In one particularly devastating campaign, Avery's forces destroyed a Zarkian communication hub, effectively isolating their entire military command structure. Panicked and disoriented, the Zarkian fleet made rash decisions, playing directly into the humans' hands. The psychological toll was immense. Zarkian commanders, who had never experienced such relentless warfare, began to surrender in unprecedented numbers, preferring to save what remained of their forces rather than face annihilation. The Galactic Council, watching from a distance, was horrified by the destruction. This wasn't how wars were fought in their galaxy. Battles were meant to be brief, tactical, and honorable, conflicts resolved with minimal casualties, leaving both sides the opportunity to rebuild. But humans seemed to care little for such ideas. For them, victory meant total domination, and any path to that end was justified. As the war dragged on, some council members quietly voiced their concerns. They feared that humanity's unpredictable nature made them too dangerous. If the humans could do this to the Zarkians, what was stopping them from turning on the rest of the galaxy? The Council's rules were designed to keep wars from spiraling out of control, but humanity had no such restraints. They had weaponized adaptability and determination, and the galaxy wasn't prepared for it. Humanity wasn't just winning the war, they were reshaping the entire concept of warfare in the galaxy. And it terrified everyone. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session, the chamber heavy with tension. The recent human campaigns had sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. War was no stranger to the Council, but what humanity had unleashed upon the Zarkians was something entirely new, something far more dangerous than any species had anticipated. Council members from dozens of races, some ancient and wise, others young and ambitious, debated fiercely. The Threllians, typically the most diplomatic, took the floor first. The humans have shattered the delicate balance we have maintained for centuries. Ambassador Threll spoke gravely, their voice echoing in the chamber. Their methods are excessive, and their disregard for collateral damage is unlike anything we've seen. Others agreed. The destruction of entire Zarkian cities, the ruthless dismantling of their infrastructure, and the psychological warfare that had left the once proud Zarkian military broken, it was all too much. War in the galaxy had always been governed by rules, unwritten but universally respected. Even the Zarkians, aggressive as they were, adhered to these traditions. Humanity, however, seemed oblivious to them. "I disagree," interjected Varnak of the Rithians, an alien race that had benefited from human assistance in trade and diplomacy. "They ended the war quickly and decisively. How many lives would have been lost if this dragged on for years? The humans saved us from prolonged suffering." A murmur rippled through the chamber. Varnak wasn't wrong. Humanity's brutal efficiency had, in a twisted way, brought about peace. But at what cost? The destruction was absolute, and the fear among council members was growing. It wasn't just that the humans had defeated the Zarkians, it was how easily they had done it. They had adapted, evolved, and overwhelmed their enemy in ways that seemed almost frighteningly natural. Ambassador Threll countered. "The issue isn't just their methods, it's their unpredictability. Humans don't fight like us. They don't think like us. They don't abide by our rules. What happens when they turn that force on another species? Or worse, on all of us?" In the shadowy corners of the chamber, private conversations flourished. Some alien species, particularly those who had long considered themselves the galaxy's dominant powers, were shaken. They had initially viewed humanity as an ally, perhaps even a useful pawn, but now many saw them as a threat. The Zarkians were powerful, yet humans had broken them in mere months. Who would be next if humanity wasn't kept in check? The fear ran deeper than just war tactics. Humanity's adaptability, their relentless drive to win, and their willingness to use any means necessary revealed a species that could one day eclipse all others. Council members whispered about Earth's growing influence, their ever-improving technology, and their unsettling capacity for learning and evolving with each conflict. By the end of the session, the Council was divided. Some called for immediate sanctions against humanity, a ban from participating in future wars. Others, nervous but intrigued, argued for further study and restraint. The debate raged on, but one thing was clear: the galaxy had never encountered a species like humanity before, and the Council was not prepared for the implications. Humanity had changed the rules of the game, and the Council was left scrambling to decide what to do about it. The Galactic Council's decision came sooner than anyone expected. The pressure had been mounting, and after weeks of intense debate, the ruling was clear: humans were to be banned from participating in all future galactic wars. It was a monumental decision, one that had never been imposed on any species in the history of the Council. But it was also one born out of fear, not just of humanity's methods, but of what they represented. Commander Avery stood aboard her flagship, gazing out at the vast expanse of stars. The war had ended, and yet, there was no celebration. Word of the Council's decision had reached Earth, and while the human government had expressed disappointment, the truth was, humanity knew this day would come. The galaxy wasn't ready for what they had to offer. Across the galaxy, the news spread rapidly. Some species breathed a sigh of relief, glad to be rid of the unpredictability and ruthlessness that human warfare had brought. Others questioned the wisdom of the Council's decision. Could they afford to push humans to the sidelines, knowing that Earth had the potential to outmaneuver even the most established military powers? For the first time in the Council's history, there was doubt about their ability to maintain order without the help of humanity's ingenuity and adaptability. Back in the Council chamber, Ambassador Threll addressed the Assembly one last time. The humans are unlike any species we have ever encountered. Their potential for destruction is unmatched. But so, too, is their potential for innovation and growth. We must tread carefully, for today we ban them from war, but tomorrow they may rise as something far more powerful. Some species, like the cautious and calculating Drellians, supported the ban wholeheartedly. They had witnessed firsthand the devastation that human forces could unleash, and they feared that if allowed to continue participating in galactic conflicts, Earth would eventually dominate the galaxy. Their argument was simple: humans were too dangerous, too unpredictable. Better to exclude them now than to risk facing them as enemies later. Others, however, like the Rithians, were more hesitant. We've seen what humans are capable of, Barnack argued. Yes, they are fierce, but they are also allies. Banning them may weaken the balance of power in ways we cannot foresee. If we alienate humanity, we risk pushing them toward a path we cannot control. Despite such objections, the decision stood. Humanity would no longer be allowed to join galactic wars, their military forces restricted to defending their own territory. On the surface, it seemed like a peaceful solution, a way to prevent future devastation. But beneath the surface, the tension remained. Humanity accepted the decision publicly, but privately, they had already begun to adapt once more. Their exclusion from war didn't mean they would stop growing stronger. As Commander Avery prepared to return to Earth, her thoughts were not on the ban itself, but on what it signified. The galaxy feared them, and in that fear, humanity had found its true strength. They didn't need to fight in galactic wars to shape the future. They had already proven that they could change the galaxy forever. And as the stars continued to drift by, Avery smiled to herself. This was only the beginning. The real reason humans were banned from galactic war was not because they were too dangerous in battle. It was because they were destined to rise above it.